close, but I feel
Ben Simmons is just you get like a freaking takeout order, and Ben Simmons is an extra packet of ketchup that they throw in just in case you want a different. Whose computer?
Welcome back, everybody, to Targeting Podcast.
Yes, sir.
How are you boys doing? Fellas? How you boys doing this week?
Too bad, not too bad.
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. We got a great episode coming at you guys today, filled with some Super Bowl stuff, obviously, and also just crazy trade deadline. Maybe the craziest trade deadline in NBA history. So, what an episode we got coming at you guys.
Yeah, we got a jam-packed episode. So yeah, we're going NFL, and then we'll do like a majority trade deadline stuff. We'll start with NFL though. So Burrow, as I knew, was
you were both right. You both took the Rams.
Inevitably going to fail. And
doesn't mean I wasn't pissed. Doesn't mean I wasn't pissed though. I wasn't pissed because
John, I knew you wanted the Bengals to win.
Yeah, I did, but I had the fact that the Rams would hit in my head.
My prediction was right, and I'll say it now. The Bengals did not give Burrow enough time to make any plays. We saw it at the end of the game. That was the story all game long. It's not necessarily the Bengals' offensive line fault, but if Donald's a beast, Aaron Donald is a fucking
It kind of comes down to a point in time where it's incredible. You're playing one of the top pass and run game defensive lines out there. Mainly pass though, because they just give you no time in the pocket. At the end of it, it came down to Rams' performance was stellar on defense. The O-line was exhausted and just gave up too many one-on-ones versus Donald, and the center got stuck not moving with Donald on the pressure for two. At the end of the game, though, too, there was one play where Burrow had a guy for 3 yards, quick shotgun pass, little time in the pocket. He could have whipped it in there, and he threw it downfield and lofted it. And now he's a young guy, first time in the Super Bowl, a lot of pressure on you. You see Donald coming down the gut, and sometimes you're going to miss an open receiver. I understand that, but this is a learning opportunity for him when he watches that film back, because your eye should not be downfield when all you need is 3-4 yards and you're in field goal kicking position after that. And again, a lot of pieces went wrong. I'm not going to blame it all on Burrows, but in the moment I was certainly pissed. But at the end of the game, though, it does come down to your entire team, but also Burrows is going to learn very soon that in a game position like that, you rely on two people, not just the team. You got to rely on your kicker if you want to tie it and go to overtime, and you got to rely on him to be the leader out there. He's still a young kid. I
agree with you, Justin.
It's hard. It's hard to put it.
I'm not putting the entire thing on him, but I'm just saying,
I get that.
We do the same thing to Brady.
You put him. You did after in the group chat. You did after.
Okay, in the group chat, I did because I was pissed. But afterwards, after I had a cool head, I realized that there was
everyone who didn't see our group chat. This kid comes out, which is everybody. This kid comes out and he's like, Burrow lost the Bengals this game. I can't believe that the Bengals lost this game because Joe Burrow doesn't know how to throw the fucking football. And I was dead.
Look, you know me. I'm a hot-headed guy when it comes to moments like that. This was our hometown hero, Harambe.
Here's the thing.
You can't. You go ahead.
Justin, go ahead. No, Justin, you haven't spoken yet. Go ahead. So,
you both hit it on the head. I think, Jerry, you called it beforehand, and I think a lot of people did as well. Where so much of that game relied on the Bengals O-line holding up the best D-line in all football in the Rams. They tried. It didn't work. They got 7 sacks, which is a tied Super Bowl record. Burrow had no time. It was ugly, but I'm not just gonna credit the Rams defense because I need to show some love to the Bengals defense. They were incredible as well.
It was a 23-20 game.
How long was that game? 20-16 in favor of the Bengals, just forcing 3 and out over and over and over again for that last second in that Rams offense. I mean, they forced so many 3 and outs and got so many crucial stops in that second half. And it wasn't enough. I get that, but that Bengals defense was incredible, as good as the Rams defense.
That's the thing. We guess that too. They adjusted in that game. They only let up a touchdown. But the thing was, at the end of the day, with my problem with the Bengals offense was like not even the O-line, just the offense in general. Like if Burrow can't get enough time, you have to create plays, where they're just quick dumps, quick passes, cut, and then just fire it off. If he has less than 3 seconds,
a big splash offense like Cincinnati, it's hard to just run.
It's hard to do that. And you know what happened was that first play in the second half, when you score a fucking touchdown, I'm like the first or second play, you're like, oh shit, we're good. Like we had the amount of guys that were open on that last play, but they simply couldn't get it off because Burrow had 3 seconds. At that point in the game, you have to figure out plays where it's just quick dumps, because otherwise you're not gonna win the game. And they weren't gonna win running the ball because Donald's just pulling players back.
Donald
those things.
Incredible.
No, I was just gonna say
he's incredible.
He's insane.
The entire Rams team played unbelievable. You have Weddle downfield though, and you have Jalen Ramsey. Both of them though let up some big throws from Burrow.
Jalen Ramsey had the worst game of his career.
Now let me say though. One of them, a little bit of a tug on the helmet, but it also was a little bit of a sell. It was a little bit of a sell, but I think part of it was the momentum of him running, and he fell head first just by the little tug. You don't realize it, but you know what?
Jamar played well though.
But you know what? The Bengals got fucked towards the end because of a terrible call on pass
Logan
interference.
Wilson.
So it happens.
They called holding on Logan Wilson on Cooper Kupp inside the 5 on third goal.
But I think
that would have been a.
But I think there's a difference. Spot. Also, you couldn't even challenge that. It was under 2. But what my point is those 2 plays were the entire Bengals offense that game. They had 2 touchdowns off of them, right? So what happens now is I'm not going to pin the entire game on Joe Burrow. I understand he's a new quarterback, but like, for example, when we're in the situations when Brady was in the Super Bowl and he misses one of those easy passes, you're pissed because that's a game-changing decision there. But he needs that experience. No, but he needs that experience. It's a good exposure. I don't even think that was
Burrow's fault. Burrow didn't have any time.
No, it's not. He didn't have any time. I know, but it's good exposure for him. But something he needs to learn though, because when he aired that ball out, there was a guy going downfield, but he was just covered. So Burrows is the type of quarterback where the Bengals are not just a second half team, but they said it too in the Super Bowl. The Bengals don't go play by play downfield like the Rams do. They don't go 5 yards, and then get a 15
They're big
yard
splash.
They go big splash, 85, 50 yards downfield. They get in the red zone. They kick their field goal. They get their touchdown. They're done. That is great. And they won the entire season with that. But they are not going to win a Super Bowl with that the entire time. And if the Bengals get back to this position, which, they're a young team and they could, and I think Burrows has it in him.
Joe Burrow will be back.
But what he needs to realize is he needs to just learn to check down to his running back. Joe Mixon is a fast runner. You check down to him.
Well, they ahead of Ryan in the
I know,
the
but
they gave it to P. Ryan. Why would they do that at the end of that game?
You just gotta learn some check down passes, and even if it's just like you said, Jerry, even if it's just a nice crossing route, you just gotta. And again, there was one play I think where Jalen read it all day and blocked it, but you gotta just learn these.
But my final thought is I blame more the offensive coordinator than Joe Burrow, because if you're Joe Burrow, you're just trying to find somebody open. But this dude literally, like you can see
when you're Joe Burrow,
2 to 3 seconds, he has no time at all, and the splash would have worked. The last play, even there were so many guys open. Jamar Chase was open downfield. They literally could have threw a touchdown.
What I'm telling you, though,
the guys on the side were open. It's not that the splash doesn't work, but the splash only works if you have at least 5 seconds to actually let the play develop and not let Donald get in. But the problem is Donald was I can't say his name more because I
don't know how he was the Super Bowl MVP. Yeah,
I don't know how he was the Super Bowl. I literally thought
we can get into that after. But before you discuss that, what you got to realize, Jerry, is it happened the play before. 3 plays before. It happened multiple times in a row. Aaron Donald presses the guard, and the center is supposed to come over and take Aaron Donald so that he's just jammed. And they did it earlier in the game. No, they did it earlier in the game. No, they did it earlier in the game. But the center, what happened is that one of the defensive linemen changed who he went after, and the center just backed up and didn't go for anyone. He just stood there after he snapped the ball. And Aaron Donald just cuts inside, right?
Yeah.
And he's so fucking strong. If you're flat-footed, he's going through you.
If it's one-on-one, you're
and it's one-on-one. So
it
comes down to it where it's not the O-line necessary, but it's the coaching of the O-line as well, where you see that happen 2-3 times in a row towards the end of the game, and the Rams get downfield. You get a terrible call. Now it goes against you, but you're still in this game. Yeah, you need to get downfield, and then you're right. The splash does work. I just think with an O-line like that situation, Joe Burrow doesn't have to learn to get a quick snap. You got to learn to get a quick snap.
I just think the entire thing of that, my final thought on this game was the Bengals made adjustments on the defensive end, like they always do, and they didn't make any adjustments on the offensive end, and that was the reason they lost the game. LA Rams still played a great game. Don't get me wrong.
I think they played well. They gave it everything they had. It's just that Rams team was destined for a Super Bowl. The way it was built, the way it was constructed, the way they played, the way they had been coached, the way that everything was in their favor, and they won the Super Bowl. So
I was shocked.
I agree. That's
the last thing I'll say, and we can move on to NBA. The last thing I'll say is I was shocked how little the Rams scored. Like 23 points was not a lot. Like
I couldn't believe how many times
you know what a major
kept getting stops and Matt Stafford's walking up.
Yeah.
Still
you know what a major contributor to that is though? First of all, we all discussed this. Matthew Stafford is a great quarterback. You know, he had a shitty career because he was with the Lions for so long and he should have left earlier.
I wouldn't say shitty career, but yeah. I know it's been a tough time.
Well,
I know shitty career. He still put up crazy numbers, but yeah, not shit. I mean,
well, when we're judging
career.
When we're judging, if we're judging by the individual
He's got a
talent,
now.
If we're judging by the individual talent of Matthew Stafford, yeah, he has numbers, but he also doesn't have a Super Bowl, and he was with the Lions for 12 years, and he went nowhere.
But the Lions suck. The Lions are so
right.
bad.
So I'm saying is what I said after that statement is he should have left them way earlier to get to this opportunity sooner, but. He is a good quarterback. He's just getting older now. Those years in Detroit really wore him down. He got here, though. He proved it. So I'm very happy that he got it. It was a need-win situation for the Rams because I don't know how much longer Stafford's going to be around.
Well, Aaron Donald said he might retire, too.
So Aaron Donald said he might retire. And you know what? You know what I'm going to say is the major contributor is OBJ's injury didn't help. OBJ was hot in that game. With the touchdown and then with some big passes.
I knew that was coming because
with some big passes
was making like a 5-yard catch and he was like, "Let's fucking go!" And I'm like, "You are going."
I know, but still, now what happens is Stafford has to rely on you don't have Higbee, and you got to rely on Kupp, and Kupp's being double covered. And he was covered pretty well most of the game until the end. No, Kupp was covered pretty well at some points, and he didn't get a look. But there came a point towards the end of the third where the Bengals just really were losing their energy, and they just started letting Kupp get some easy passes going upfield, and then he got his other touchdown. And I mean, what can you do after that? I mean, he's just I called the fade route from Kupp off the line, just the quick fade, throw it up to Kupp. You can't guard that. Kupp is just so fucking amazing.
No, he's good,
but what I'm saying is Matthew Stafford has proven himself as a quarterback now, but it was a must-win situation for the Rams, as we discussed before, because now OBJ is injured, same leg, same injury, I'm pretty sure. You don't know when he's going to come back, right? And he was supposed to replace Woods. And Woods has got to come back. And now OBJ, he got his ring. He's had a good career. He has his ring. And if he can't recover from this, that'll be his retirement. Aaron Donald will retire. And I think Matthew Stafford is close to it. And I honestly think after the performance by Jalen Ramsey, I don't know how Jalen Ramsey can stay in this league that much.
No,
he is getting old. No, he is getting old, dude. He is getting, I mean, after a while being a cornerback,
the main reason why I was win now is because they will never assemble a roster that will look exactly the same.
I know, but I'm just saying a lot of the guys on that team have just seen their first Super Bowl. I wouldn't put it past them if they call it a career with a ring.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
crazy Super Bowl.
I was sure.
We can get into it more when we start seeing this, but I'm just saying that the Rams we saw was a must-win.
Agreed.
And I mean, we want to talk about why.
Final thoughts for everybody. So, what was your final thought on the game? My final thought was very winnable game. I thought for the Bengals, but they will be back, and it's just nice to see the Rams get a. I don't like the Rams. It was nice to see
not happy to see the city of LA get another one.
Exactly.
Shout out to
nice.
Jamar Chase, maybe the best wide receiving season from a rookie ever. And shout out to Cooper Kupp, maybe the best receiving season ever. So the two of them, absolute studs. Joe Burrow will be back. Not much else to be said.
I think it was just disappointing it's going to LA, but I think that the roster you have on the Rams team, every guy on that team needed a ring in their career, and they got one. And I think Kupp was deserving of the MVP. I think it was tough to give it out. I mean, you usually give it out to an offensive player. But Aaron Donald, if you could give out defensive player of the year again, he's gonna get. I mean, that's a fucking great ass player. And if he retires, he'll have had that 4 times in a row, 9 Pro Bowls, I think, and now a ring. And you saw it after that in the interview when he was crying. He wanted that. Yeah, he got it, and that's it. He's had a career.
All right, James Harden and Ben Simmons. Let's do it. Let's get it. Here it is. Here's the details for those who somehow still don't know it, but there's it's a lengthy trade sort of. So James Harden to Philly, obviously. Sure. Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks to Brooklyn. Yep. Now, obviously, blockbuster is an understatement. Blockbuster is an understatement. And you say you've been waiting for it. You're absolutely right. So many of us have been. I mean, this trade's been been rumored for years now.
Even to discuss it, though.
It's finally happened. Oh, I know. Thoughts? I mean, first of all, I'll put a better question than just thoughts. Who do you think wins this trade?
Yeah, I can tell you right now. I think in this situation, I've been thinking about this for a while because I didn't know how to put this into words. And it's still hard to put into words. When you think of this trade, we knew this trade was coming. Look, the Nets have gotten now a solid lineup of players. We all agreed that the trio there just clashed too much. I think especially with the way Kyrie has dealt with his vaccination status of this year. And I was surprised that they kept Kyrie, to be honest with you. I'm saying that right now. I was surprised that they would have kept him. But honestly, that's a team decision. I just think that the way he handled it was annoying and I wouldn't want to keep him. But they see something. They've kept him. So be it. But one of them had to go besides Durant. Durant was staying. Well, Harden was the right choice. I think Harden was the better option to go to the Sixers. I think the Sixers got a better trade by getting Harden instead of Kyrie. Now, I think that the Sixers are just so good right now, and they have a solid lineup. They still got Harris. They still got Embiid, and now they have Harden. I don't see how the Sixers hurt from this necessarily entirely, but I don't think that the value was good for them. I think that they gave up a lot for Harden. Because Ben Simmons went down in value, I will give you. I think he went down a bit in value. But I would have done Ben, maybe Drummond, and a pick. I think the extra pick or the extra player was a bit overboard because they wanted to just send Ben out. I think they just wanted Ben out, and I see why they did it. But those 2 picks are going to be vital for you in the future, and they just lost 2 of them.
It's not even, and you're absolutely right. And depending on how things shake out in Philly, whether it's obviously injuries and stuff, that pick could end up being good. But Seth Curry just being thrown into this deal is way bigger to me. I can't believe that they would give up a guy who's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league and is so important to what Embiid to the spacing that is open for Embiid, especially since Ben Simmons hasn't been playing. They've just surrounded Embiid with shooters and given him the space inside the arc, which is all they've ever wanted.
They got a shooter
Simmons
now.
Has crowded him down low his whole career. He finally has the space. And Seth Curry is making you pay for every time you want to double down and leave him open. And now you're going to get rid of your best shooter? And now every shot that Seth Curry was making for them and why they're such a good team this year, you need Danny Green to make? That's a big downgrade for Philadelphia. They need that shooting so much for Embiid to be playing this MVP at this MVP level. And they're going to miss that a lot. I understand that they have other pieces that can step up. You have a Tyrese Maxey, you have a Danny Green, you have a Matisse Thybulle who can't really shoot the ball, but Shake Milton is there.
You got Harden now.
Seth Curry, this guy if Curry is on the back of that jersey, don't trade him. It's just a good tip.
I personally, when I thought of this, Jerry, I'll give it to you in 2 seconds. I just think that Seth would have been left out of the trade, and I would have been willing to give up the 2 picks. But I think if you were to put Seth in, you should have not thrown any picks in there because now you've lost future players. And the Nets, honestly, I can say it right now, and we'll give our gradings after Jerry speaks. The Nets won. I mean, like the Nets just got 3 solid players, 1 great one, but 3 solid players and 2 future picks for a team that is already well built. And the Sixers didn't necessarily lose now, but they will lose later.
Yeah, my question when I saw this trade come up was, I think we all have a certain value we would put Ben Simmons at in our heads, because the dude hasn't played. So it's not like you can be like, yeah, like judging by these stats, he's like here. So that was my original question when I saw this deal was, what was Ben Simmons' value? Like, I know you had to deal him, but like, did you really like, I don't know. So I kind of view the 76ers team right now as just a Houston team in Philadelphia. That could be completely wrong, but that's what it seems like. I know Embiid and Capella are like different people in terms of big men, but it seems like it's going to be the same in terms of Harden's going to put up 50, and let's just hope we win the game. The Nets for sure won this trade. There's no doubt in my mind. 2 picks from the 76ers, that's like gold. Okay, the 76ers will be bad again eventually. So, like, first round picks in the bag for them, beautiful. I think Drummond is also a great add to the Nets. Just a big guy you can bring off the bench. And
I was really disappointed in seeing him go. That just sucks.
And I think
sucks.
Yeah. And I think Justin brings up another point where it's like, Seth Curry was great for spacing out Sixers, but I mean, if you're the Nets now, that's even better for you guys. Like, now you have the great thing I like about Seth Curry and the Nets, which sucks for the Sixers. I don't know why they dealt him, but Seth Curry, whether Ben Simmons works out or not, to me, Ben Simmons could not play another game. They still won this trade, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. Ben Simmons was just
almost damn near going to agree.
Ben Simmons, you know what this is?
Close, but I feel
Ben Simmons is just you get like a freaking takeout order, and Ben Simmons is an extra packet of ketchup that they throw in just in case you want to dip it in your fries, and you never use it. You're fine. But if you dip your fries in it, you're satisfied.
Here's my thing, though. The thing is, Seth Curry is still a great shooter that you don't even need to give the ball to. Like, the problem with Harden was whenever Harden was not like playing, you felt bad for not giving the ball because you're like, shit, this is James Harden we have on our team. Now it's like, hey, we don't have to give the ball to Seth Curry, but when we do, you know damn well that he's probably going to make a shot. And that's what I like for them. You don't have any guilt in not giving Seth Curry the ball, but it's a guy who spaces out. You still got to worry about Seth Curry because if you don't worry about him, he's going to shoot. So I don't know. I thought, honestly, I think the Nets robbed the Sixers playing.
I mean, I think what you said about Ben Simmons' value is such a good point, because if you remember at the beginning of the offseason when all this first started happening, it was the talks from Philly. Daryl Morey, their GM, was saying, "Oh, we want Dame. Okay, you're not going to get Dame. Okay, we want De'Aaron and Tyrese Halliburton from Sacramento. Okay, you're not getting both of our young backcourt. Like, they were asking for so much. He's saying, we want a top 10 player for Ben Simmons. We want a superstar for Ben Simmons." And then it turned into months worth of dead silence because they were asking they're calling people, and people are hanging up the phone laughing because of how much they're asking for. Then you finally get the situation where James Harden is frustrated and vocally telling people about it and says he wants out before the deadline. Okay, that lowers his value. But now all of a sudden you have James Harden on the table, and your other options that you've been looking at for months are chump change. So I get the fact that you want to pull the trigger on that and say, look, all we've been able to figure out over the last few months of trying to shop Ben Simmons is we're not going to get the value that we want back for him. And then all of a sudden James Harden pops back up and you say, okay, if I can get him, I have to do it. So I get why Philly did that. They were never going to get anything more than James Harden or anything even close to James Harden in return. So I do like it in that regard. But it's just like,
they waited too long.
The answer for that Sixers.
They waited way too long to deal Ben Simmons.
Unnecessary, in my opinion.
No, you know what I think is unnecessary? I think what is unnecessary, and I think what's surprising is that no one in this room right now, I mean, we all know it, but none of us have said it. Paul Millsap was in this deal. So here's what I'm going to say.
True, you're right. Actually.
Here's what I'm going to say. Who the fuck needs Millsap? Toss Millsap out of the deal. Because Millsap is just because Millsap is just when you add 2 guys now, you gotta throw in a third because James Harden is worth 2. in that deal. So now you have to throw Seth in, or you have to throw Drummond in, because Ben and Harden are not equal value, even with the picks. I don't think they're just not. You know what I mean? If you just did Ben in the 2 picks, so you got to do Ben in the 2 picks. They knew that, and they have those picks. Those picks are such high value, and Ben is just chump change now, like we just said. He's a package of ketchup. Like
picks might not be high value. I just think that it's dangerous because you're essentially leaving all of your trust on that team and like.
Well, no, I think what the problem is,
you got Tybull, you got other people, but fuck them for now.
I think what the problem is
Harden, you need them to play well for those picks to not mean shit to you. But if they do it, because they're not protected, right? They're unprotected.
No, I'm pretty sure they're unprotected. Yeah.
So you're going with it.
Yeah. So you have a great team, right? A great team, but that great team only performs great when the top 2 players are great. Because now you don't have Seth Curry to back you up and be a reliable scorer, like Justin said. You don't have to give him the ball, but you give him the ball and he'll drop a dime. Also, his name is Curry. That says enough for you to throw him in this deal. But let me just say, now the problem is that the 76ers are really ring chasing here. They're really looking for another guy to get them a ring. And here's the thing. James Harden is not the type of guy I can see staying on this team for that much longer. Right, and
I think he'll pick up his option and come back next year. But,
he will.
I mean, but clearly we've seen now twice in a row in 2 different locations. If he's unhappy, he's gonna let people know about it, and he's gonna leave. So and I think I'm not trying to pay him a max pay, and after that his contract's up. They're gonna have to give him a super max to keep him there. And he's shown that he's visibly frustrated, and when he voices it and leaves. So
that's the thing,
that type of guy, and I don't even know right now. They know they're ring chasing by doing this. Is this team good enough to? Would you not pick them to win the East? I certainly wouldn't.
Nah.
I think if they had to play Brooklyn in a series, which my God, would that be so much fun to watch? Brooklyn's winning that series.
Yeah,
almost no doubt in my mind. Yeah. So I don't know. If I had to grade it, I would say Brooklyn A because James Harden I voiced wanting out, and I know we never got to see what the big 3 could do really all healthy. They played 16 total games together. They went 13-3 in those games. So what could have been? I know it's always going to be like a what if thing, but I think once Harden says he wants out, it is what it is. You got to do what you could do. I give this an A for Brooklyn, and I'd give it a B for Philly. I won't go B-. I'll give it a B for Philly. And the real test will be if one of these teams wins a ring, they automatically are the winner of this trade. But I don't even know that one of these teams wins a ring. But either way, what do you guys got for grades before we hit the next one?
Yeah, I think the Nets definitely an A. I think the big 3. I don't think the big 3 was ever going to work, in my opinion.
I
just think too much superstardom. There's not one guy in there that you can be like, all right, he's kind of like the backseat. Like usually in every big 3, there's one guy that's kind of
and nobody was gonna relent. Kyrie or James, they were fighting for the second spot.
Exactly. Well, for the Heat, it was like LeBron. LeBron's the guy, and then you got D Wade, who's still really good, and then you got Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh is really good, but he can take a back seat. And then I'm trying to think of other big 3s.
The type of head case. Klay Thompson did it in Golden State when Durant came in. Curry was 2. Klay was 3.
Klay was 3. I mean, if you think of old Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman. Rodman didn't score any points. So you got to think of it that way too. I just think it was never going to work. It was unrelenting. Nets, I give it an A. The Sixers, it's tough because the Sixers is tough because if they win, it worked. You did your job. Good, congratulations. But
that's the last.
If you don't win, or even worse, if you start losing, you're fucked because then you don't have any picks. You just gave up 2 of your picks. So I give it a B-. All
right.
And why I give it a B- is because actually, never mind. I'll just keep it to myself.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
I give the Nets the A, right? You picked up 2 great players. One you don't know, but it doesn't really matter. Because you got 2 picks in it, and you already have a great team.
But what you do know about him, the one you do get, the star they built around Ben Simmons, is you've got a staple defender. And that was something they needed anyways. So whether he does even if he doesn't do shit on the offensive side, you have an all NBA defender
that you can just throw in anytime you need on a defense. Yeah. So 76ers, Jerry hit it on the money with the B-, but I'm honestly, the 76ers, just what they gave up versus what they gained. And I'm looking at this more long-term, especially just that, I just found out about, I forgot that Embiid is unprotected too. Honestly, I'm leaning more on the C+ side. It's a high B, it's a low B-, high C+. I just can't get behind it very well. I just think it was a lot. It was a big last minute thing to just seal up getting rid of Ben Simmons before the trade deadline. Harden was on the table. Harden wanted out on the deadline, and he just did it. And I think Millsap was a little extra, to be honest with you. I think the Nets wanted to just get rid of him, and I think that's why they threw him in. But the 76ers should have just said no. We want Harden specifically.
So we'll see what happens. Can't wait to see this on court. But next one, big one, CJ McCollum to the Portland from Portland, obviously, to the New Orleans Pelicans. Pretty big deal. Also, Larry Nance is in this deal as well. Josh Hart goes to Portland. Nickeil Alexander-Walker went to Portland and then went right to Utah for Joe Ingles, who is an expiring contract and is out for the year, who won't play in Portland probably ever. He'll probably just go somewhere else for anything. So basically, damn near a lot of nothing for Portland. There's a protected pick in there, first-round pick with a lot of protections. If it's like 1 to 5, it goes somewhere. 6 to 14, I think they keep it. 14 to 30. It's very protected. Basically, a whole lot of nothing for CJ. And the Pelicans get CJ McCollum, a 20-point-per-game guard to play alongside Brandon Ingram. And they're fighting for the play-in spot now. And eventually, if Zion comes back, you have CJ, BI, and Zion.
Team,
and Valanciunas still there. I mean, it's not a bad group at all. Portland, I don't get what they're doing. They're just getting no assets. They're giving everything away for nothing in return. I don't get the plan. What they're doing is freeing up money. Boy, oh boy, they better succeed on every single one of their off-season plans and free agency plans, because right now nobody in the world knows what the hell they're thinking. Well, it's an interim GM making all these moves, by the way.
What I don't understand,
a few months back, he's an interim GM who doesn't have the real job, making the biggest trades in franchise history. It's beyond.
What I don't understand is that
it's crazy.
I just don't get why teams are just throwing away a top guy and 2 solid backups on those deals, and I just don't see any return here. What are the Blazers doing? They've given up so much and they've got nothing.
Was at least some.
And you know what pisses me off the most? No,
you know what pisses right out.
Do you know what pisses me off the most? Is the fact that Dame is still willing to stay. He said it. He still wants
he's
to
out
stay.
for the rest of the year. So, I mean, at this point, if you're him, you might as well see it through.
No, but now you got rid of CJ. You got rid of CJ. So what the fuck does he have on his team? I'm sorry, but
I think he's just hoping for
you don't have anything though. You don't have anything.
I know, but they might get somebody in the offseason.
No, the biggest hope for them was that if Harden ended up staying in Brooklyn and stayed disgruntled, he was going to leave in free agency, and maybe Portland could stab at him in free agency. Nope. Now he's staying in Philly for sure, at least for the offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what their free agency fucking plans are. The next best option is Kyrie. Guess what? Kyrie's going to stay in Brooklyn. I don't know what they're thinking they're going to get. And they've given up everything.
And you have Dame. Why the fuck would you go after Kyrie? That's just...
Yeah, there's no reason you want him. It makes absolutely no sense.
It's I don't really know what Portland's doing. So, yeah. I don't know. When I saw that...
They better hit free agency. That's all I have to say.
That was my first question when I saw the CJ trade. I was like, where the fuck is this going? Who'd you get for CJ? On the Pelicans? Did you get Zion? What would you get? It's like
the one tangible young piece in Nickeil Alexander-Walker they did get, they shipped him away an hour later. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's clear to me that they're on the rebuild and Dame's the center of the rebuild. It's just interesting where they're
that's not how you rebuild.
That's not how you rebuild
with a centering around an older player. And
they should have got picks. That's what they should have got.
They should have
unprotected picks. And when you get, I'm sorry, if you get a protected pick, that's basically nothing, because usually when there's a protection on, it's 1 through 10. And like that's like a
this
really
one's
good
even
protection.
more complex. I think it's like 6-14 they keep it or something.
So
it's like crazy.
Like the only really thing they could have done here was get more picks, and they didn't. So they got some, but like it's not going to mean anything for you.
It's ugly.
I think the question is now, like, is Dame for sure? I mean, he's for sure staying like through free agency, but like, I don't know, man. Next 3 years could be a little different because how old is he right now? He's young. He's still young, right?
No, he's over 30, so 31-ish or something. Yeah, it's not good.
You don't have a team.
You don't rebuild around a 30
You
plus.
don't have a team, and you don't rebuild like this because there's no reason to throw away McCollum for no reason.
He's 31.
I can understand if you wanted to deal Snell and Lance, maybe, but why McCollum? Because I don't think you got very much in there.
It's not even that I don't mind them dealing McCollum. It's just make sure you get like a really good player. Like
they didn't.
So
though.
it's like
they didn't because that's why I'm pissed. That's why I don't want you to deal McCollum because you had no one on the table.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dame came back next year, played out of his mind. They lose a bunch of games, and he's like, "Fuck this! I want out of here."
Probably will.
And the more important side of this trade, at least for the moment, is the Pelican side. Great trade for them, I think. I mean,
we can all agree.
A team like New Orleans, you're not going to do a whole lot. You're not going to bring in a whole lot of free agents. You're not going to attract a whole bunch of players. But you do have Zion, and you want to keep Zion. I know Zion's riddled with injuries. Who knows when the hell he's ever touched the floor again, if in the next year even. But you have him. You want to keep him there. Number 1 pick, phenom. You want to keep him there. So to bring in a guy like CJ, a guard that can go score 20 a night, 20 plus a night, and you also have BI there. You have Valanciunas. It's a good group for eventually when Zion hopefully makes a return to have built around. And even without Zion right now, I know they're very confident they can make the play-in tournament with the team they have now. And they're only like a game out or something right now. So a good trade for them. And
it's an A for the Pelicans. It's an A for the Pelicans. I think it's I'm seriously, like, this is not just an exaggeration. I dead ass think it's a D- for the Blazers. I'm not going to give them an F. I just don't want to be rude, but it's a D-. The Blazers didn't get anything. I really don't. I mean, one of the protected picks for the first round, you got a protected pick for the first round. And then there's a second round pick, the 2 second round picks. There's the thing I'm looking at, there's a little parenthesis saying whichever is better between the team. Like there's some shady shit in here that I just don't think they've gained. So it's a D-, honestly.
I'm with you right there. Honestly, I think going shot, I'd be going A for New Orleans and D- for Portland. I agree.
I don't want to give them an F, but it's just
I won't give them an F.
Atrocious.
I echo that for you guys. I don't think you can. I mean, maybe on the original offer you can give them a little bit because they still got a piece, but then if you're just shipping them off, I mean,
no.
If they kept Nikhil, I would have given him higher, but it's ridiculous that they shipped them off an hour later. For 35-year-old Joe Ingles, who's out for the year and is going to be expiring contract, he's gone. So for nothing, again, nothing. Like it's just remarkable.
I mean,
we have
a few big ones, but we definitely have some honorable mentions after. But the next big one that I had was unless Justin, you got it. Yeah, it was Sabonis, Holiday, Lamb. So I
can run through it. It's Domantas Sabonis, Justin Holiday, Jeremy Lamb in a second for Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson. Now, this was shocking to me, to a lot of people I know, but I've shared to you guys as well. Shocking that Sacramento gave up on Tyrese Halliburton. Shocking. I mean, it was one of the better rookies in the league last year. He's having such a good sophomore season. A great defender at the guard spot. Great playmaker. Good rebounder. Can shoot the ball. Can handle the ball. He does everything. He's only 1 year into his career. He's talked many times about how he wanted to be the face of Sacramento. He wanted to be the next C. Webb. He wanted to put him back on the map. He knows how long it's been to make the playoffs. He wants to be the face of this city. And De'Aaron Fox, the other guard, who I love and I do think is a little better, is visibly saying he's frustrated and doesn't want to be there. Basically, he didn't say it, but you could have seen it in his body language throughout the beginning of the year. It's like and he's older by a couple of years. I don't know how you look at the two of them and the emotions they're both feeling and send Halliburton out of there. But Fox probably had more value. It's just gut-wrenching to see. Halliburton was like very upset about it. He was super surprised. But all that put aside, both teams got really good assets. I think the Kings got what they wanted, and I think the Pacers got what they wanted. So it's a very cool trade.
I think this trade was one of the few that I thought was like pretty level equal value. You know, the extra pick in there I think was just
But it's a second.
I think it's a second.
Deal.
It wasn't crazy, but I think Pacers now get a really young guy, wants to be the face of a franchise, wants to put himself out there. Hield and Thompson, still solid players.
Yeah, Celtics just get Hield in that as well.
I know. I know. And honestly, Tristan Thompson, he's a big man. Celtics had him. He's a big man. He does his job. Kings now get Sabonis. Don't complain there.
Has played really good for them. And De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis' two-man game in the few games they played. First of all, Sacramento, last I checked, I think they only played 2 games together. They're 2-0. Their two-man game between Fox and Sabonis has been great. They're all smiles. So maybe this does turn things around for
and
Fox.
You have
maybe
Justin
they did
Holiday
end up keeping the better piece.
And Jeremy Lamb in there. I think I'm going to say, it's a very even trade. I favor the Pacers here, but like you just said, the Kings are doing a well job, but I just like the Pacers side of it. Just, you got Halliburton.
Yeah.
And I think he needed out of there. I think De'Aaron was being, but honestly, I think
I think hopefully De'Aaron will be rejuvenated now with a new group.
Yeah.
And they got Dante DiVincenzo as well. Big piece there. They're on the DL. Very, very big piece on the download to bring in Dante DiVincenzo as well. So the new 5 is looking like Fox, DiVincenzo, Harrison Barnes, Sabonis, and Rashawn Holmes. It's a good 5 with Davion Mitchell,
Holiday and Lamb on the bench.
Holiday, yeah. So
honestly, seeing how the Kings lineup is shaped up, I give them an A. Seeing how the Pacers have got some strong additions, and I think they still have a strong team, I'd give them an A or an A-. I just favor the Kings now. Like you said, I didn't, 2-0, but it's pretty even off the board for me on this one.
Yeah. I think the only thing I was shocked about was them moving Halliburton, because this was a guy who really liked playing for the team, a lot more than I thought you would like playing in Sacramento. And
that's hard to come by too for a city like Sacramento.
Yeah, when you get a guy like that, yeah. So that was interesting. I know a lot of Sacramento fans were also, even though they got Sabonis, were not happy that they dealt Halliburton. I just think it's tough to find loyalty like that in a market like Sacramento. So
you can't put a price tag on that type of loyalty.
Yeah, so that is tough. But I mean, if the Kings eventually make it out of this trade with by them being better, just going to the playoffs, I think it'll be worth it in the long run. But it is tough to see a guy like that who was visibly devastated over leaving. So it'll be interesting. But that was the only thing that really shocked me about this whole thing. I thought overall it was an even trade. So A- for both, I believe.
I would go A for Indiana. A for Indiana, and I'd go B+ for Sacramento.
Why the lower grade for Sac?
Because I think I like Sabonis. He's a good player. They have a chance to play in, and maybe a playoff spot with him and everything. But he's an older piece. What you've given up for what Tyrese in only year 2, what his ceiling could be, potential all-star guard in this league, you've given up on him too quickly. I can't give them anything in the A range just because they gave up on him too quickly, I think. But they brought in a win now type of piece. It's not a very win now roster, but they brought in a win now piece. So
that's why I'm kind of complicated, because Sabonis is a win now guy, but you're not a win now team.
It doesn't necessarily fit the timeline. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But Justin, what else you got on the list? You got
I hope you got the 2 big Celtics ones in there.
Yeah. So there's the Celtics. Let's just go right to Celtics then, because instead of going through the trades, I will tell you what we lost and what we acquired, and overall what you think our offseason, our trade deadline went overall. So we lost Josh Richardson, Dennis Schroeder, Romeo Langford, Ennis Freedom, and Bruno Fernando, and a first-round pick. And we brought in Derek White and Daniel Tice. Brought back Daniel Tice, brought in Derek White.
I think the addition of Daniel Tice was nice. I missed him when we got rid of him. Again, we lost a lot. We cleared our bench. We cleared our bench to bring in 2 guys.
To lose. Yeah.
But we all knew that Langford was probably going to go, because it's hard to keep so many young guys on the team.
It's hard. And we have tried to get all of our young guys.
Maybe not necessarily Langford, Jerry, but we have to get. We can't hold on to rookies.
I agree. I agree. We didn't have to hold on to rookies. I don't necessarily agree with the pieces we got.
No. I think the Derek White one was a little surprising.
Even Daniel Tice.
I'm not surprised.
I love getting Tice back, but I don't think we need you. Sorry. We got Rob Williams. We got the Time Lord. We have Al Horford. We don't need another fucking big man.
I know.
Like, we have Jaylen Brown. We have Jason Tatum. We need guards.
What I'm surprised.
And I'm not talking about Derek White. I'm talking about real guards. That's why I love Dennis Schroeder.
I thought
I knew
Derek
he wasn't going to
White's-
stay, but go ahead.
I thought Derek White was surprising. Honestly, if I had to, I didn't want to have to lose both of them. I didn't really have a preference, but I didn't want to lose Richardson and Schroeder. I thought they were good additions to the team.
Derek White. I
thought they were just solid guys you could have out there and just rely on. And we didn't need both of them. I thought Schroeder was going to leave, but we didn't have to deal Josh Richardson. I just didn't think we had to.
Everyone who Justin named on that list, who we lost, I knew we were going to lose. Did I expect to get Derek White and Daniel Tice for all those? No. And we lost picks. So, the Derek White deal alone was shocking to me. Like, I know I texted Justin about that. I was pissed. But, after seeing some Derek White highlights, seeing him play for us, it seems like a good fit. But we had to give up a lot for him.
In the moment, I completely agree. In the moment, it felt like a lot because it was straight up. It was just Derek White for Jay Rich, Romeo, and first. It felt like a lot at the moment. The minute it happened, it was definitely shocking.
And two first rounders.
Was it 2 first rounders, not just one?
It was 2022, I believe.
And then it's 28.
2028 top 1.
Oh,
protected.
wow.
That means if we're really dog shit, okay, we get the pick back. But
But I do think Derek White's a good fit. I agree with everything you guys said. I think it hurts to lose a young guy like Romeo, but we have so many young guys. It's such a logjam, and the Celtics never developed any of them. So it is what it is. It's sort of just.
But I do think we need
and the rest of it. Like Derek White, I think is actually a really good fit, and now he's part of the future. He's at 4 more years on.
I'm just surprised
he's part
by
of the future.
I'm just surprised by it, but I think that the Celtics have this issue. I think it's not a big issue, or maybe you disagree, but I think it's an issue in itself. We like to bring guys back that we got rid of. We have this regret.
Oh,
we have this feeling like we brought Al back. All right, that's great. All right, fine. We brought Daniel Tice back now. All right, great, fine.
Bring IT back.
Can we now please move forward and seriously, it happens always with the big men. Can we just move forward and can we get ourselves some guards, like Jerry said, make a deal that benefits us in a certain long-term situation, 2 years, something, and win now. Win now. Just now. Please. For the love of God.
Honestly, I have to say, I kind of fuck with us doing that, bringing back the old pieces. Because here's why. Those were better times, fellas. Think back to 2-3 years back. We were in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 out of 4 years. The young Jays were flourishing.
What was it? Al Tice?
We had Al Tice. Marcus Morris was there, which I would not be surprised if we end up somehow he ends up back to Boston at some point in the next few years. But either way.
No, I know what you're saying. It's just we need something else.
Was good.
Bro, we had Terry. We had Scary Terry.
We had Terry Rozier, and I wish we still had Terry Rozier. I would do anything for him. I would trade so much for Terry Rozier, but I mean, it is what it is.
I know why we're so good.
Back. It reminds me of better times.
Had a guard.
It helped. Yeah, it helps with the locker room though to get guys like that in. Al Horford, there's no doubt in my mind. Al Horford is one of the most important players on the team as far as locker room presence, and I think Daniel Tice should be similar. It's good to have those type of guys back. Derek White will be good for this team. He already has been. I think he's a good player to have. I was a little skeptical at first as well, but I like what I'm seeing, and I'm all in on it now. It is what it is. I know we did lose a good amount, but a lot of it were pieces that were either going to be gone or weren't playing minutes for us. And it
honestly, if we didn't trade them now,
also doing business. Sometimes.
If we didn't trade them now, their value probably would have gone down. To be honest with you,
right?
If you don't trade them, if you don't trade these guys now, I mean, Jerry may, you guys may disagree, but I will look on the positive side. If we had waited, we don't know what the outcome would have been. It would have been much different, probably. We don't know. We got to really run with the punches and trust the process here, seriously, not to use a 76ers line there, but I'm liking what I'm seeing too. I agree with Justin. I think we just have to give it a chance.
But didn't we have Schroeder for a year?
Half a year.
Just this year?
Half a year.
Just this year, right. Yeah, he played half the year, now he's gone.
So played half the year, but we had him for a full year, right? So we...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But...
Dude, I think I think you guys are underestimating what a
No, I told you. I said we should.
like
I said we should have kept. No,
team.
I said we should have kept Schroeder, but got rid of at least one of them, Richardson or something.
Because hear me out. You guys are right. This team looks a lot like the Eastern Conference Finals team. But you know what we're missing from that Eastern Conference team? A fucking guard. Because we had Rozier, we had IT. Not that I'm saying we bring any one of those guys back, but we at least had a guard. Dennis Schroeder actually felt like a point guard. So if you have a guy like that, you have the big man you have a couple years ago, there's no reason you can't win now. I think this team still has potential this year, but it'll be interesting seeing them go on without a guard because I still think they need one. I don't think we need – honestly, we were talking about the buyout market, me and Justin, and Dragic looks like a good piece now.
Go get him. Go get fucking Goran Dragic.
Dragic looks good, and here's why. Because he's a very pass-first guard. He can score, but he's very pass-first, and that's all we need. We just kind of need a guard to go out there, dribble the ball. Not like Marcus. I love Marcus, but he doesn't dribble the ball that well. Go out there, pass the ball, get out of the way, be a point guard.
I agree. And I agree. I think the buyout market, if we can pick up a guard in the buyout market, it'll be big. But I do agree with you about Schroeder. Like,
I think they will.
I know we would have lost him in free agency for nothing if we had held on to him just to extend.
But this is a
year deal. But at least we had at least we would have had him for this playoffs, right? And I know I read it all as what we lost and what we acquired, but the Schroeder deal came after the Dark White deal, and it was Schroeder for Daniel Tice. So I could have done without Tice coming back and kept Schroeder. I agree with you. I could have done without that. It is what it is. It happened. We got some value back. Tice will be here now.
If they look at the buyout market,
wouldn't have had Schroeder.
If they look at the buyout market, we might have some potential there. What are we looking at for time? Just
we're looking at 51 minutes, so we can.
All right, so I think the last big one is the Porzingis one.
Yeah, Porzingis. Let's just hit it quickly. Porzingis to the Washington Wizards for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans headed to Dallas. Very surprisingly well. Was not expecting Porzingis to be dealt at this deadline. Very surprising when we got that alert. Luka and the Mavs want a different look. And I can understand that. Jalen Brunson is the only other ball handler on that entire roster. And they desperately, at times this season, have desperately needed ball handling and shot creation from guards who just don't do it. Tim Hardaway is catch and shoot. They have so many catch and shoot players and no guard play that can handle a basketball and be a floor general. So to bring in Spencer Dinwiddie, who's been bad this year, is fine. Davis Bertans has been bad this year. He makes a lot of money to shoot the ball, and he can't shoot anymore. I don't know what happened after he signed that paycheck. But Porzingis had been pretty good, but he's just always injured. So it's an interesting deal. The Wizards get a piece.
The Wizards are still. I mean, there's this whole fighting going on in that bottom of that Eastern Conference.
And now you're bringing in Porzingis into the whole smorgasbord of Rui Hachimura, Kyle Kuzma, Denny Avdija, Thomas Bryant, all these bigs that are just there and trying to fight for minutes.
I think the Wizards at this point, you're doing one of these last desperate death throws to just
you're giving up nothing, basically, if you're the Wizards. Dinwiddie's been horrible. They wanted him gone. And Bertans has been horrible.
Yeah.
They wanted him.
You're trying to get that play-in game and do something and just get a guy, veteran, someone, get him on the court, get a player. You get rid of two guys you didn't want. Mavs, honestly, they're the 5 seed. I don't see what they win here, but they're the 5 seed. So
at least what they win is having players that could be on the court.
Yeah, and they're not injured. So I mean, I guess if you're looking at it like that, Mavs got something they want. Wizards got something they want.
Yeah,
I honestly think. I think in this situation though, the Mavs really won this because they didn't lose anything. More so than the Wizards. The Wizards didn't want to keep it, but the Wizards are not in a playoff position right now. The Mavs are.
Honestly, I don't think the Wizards. I think the Mavs are more betting on something. Here's the thing: Porzingis is a guy. He's low risk, high ceiling. Like the reality is, like for the Wizards, you don't really need anybody now because you're not really winning anything. Porzingis is a guy who's like been kind of injured, but if he works for your team, great. But if he doesn't, like it's like you're at the same position you were beforehand. Dinwiddie and Bertans were not giving you that much value. I think the Mavs run a much greater risk at trying to make this thing work, and now you don't have Porzingis to even give him a chance to come back. So I do think it was a good move for the Mavs because Justin's right. They do need a point guard presence, and I don't necessarily think Brunson is the answer. I think Dinwiddie could be a better answer, but he's not playing that well. But that being said, I think the Wizards in this scenario won the trade just because they have legit nothing to lose. You still have Beal, so you're going to be fine. But, like, it is a chance for you to see what Porzingis can do for your team. And maybe you guys win a playoff game or two. So, I think overall win for the Wizards. But
yeah, I agree with that. I'd go B for the Wizards, B- for the Mavs. Both teams just kind of got some pieces that they think might help. We'll see what happens. Porzingis' ceiling is much higher, though, than Dinwiddie and Bertans' ceiling in Dallas, I think. I don't know how long they'll really be there for. I mean, we'll see how it works out. But, yeah. I agree. I think the Wizards slightly with the edge. But it's a pretty good trade. Another one of those, like, sort of both sides get what they were looking for type thing.
Yeah, what they were looking for, see how it works out. But I'm excited for the second half of the season. We'll see how that all plays out. But
for sure. We can wrap it up there. That's a good episode, folks.
Great episode.
What a crazy trade deadline, huh? My God.
Definitely.
So the league looks so different now.
The next time we'll be talking about is see how this all panned out as the playoffs. So we'll see. We'll see how it pans out for everybody. But thank you for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Comment. Wish we haven't commented. Comment. No one ever comments, but I feel like it's because you just don't have a real
comment. Comment your favorite
trade
team
that
won the deadline. Favorite trade or team that won the deadline or something. Like
beautiful.
That. Comment something.
Beautiful. But as always, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, we appreciate you, and we'll be back next week. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.